No matter what level of pole dancer you are, improving on your technique in your basic beginner spins is essential to a lifetime of happy, injury-free pole dancing. Today we're going to take a look at your chair spin specifically and how to correctly engage your shoulders for effortless looking and injury-free beginner spins. And if one arm spins are on your goal list, then make sure you put today's top secrets into practice and you'll be performing effortless one arm spins in no time. Let's take a look first at the top arm. Bringing your top arm to the pole, it's first important that we don't hang out of our shoulder like so. And then it's also important when our arms are in an overhead position that we don't pull those shoulders all the way down away from your ears, because both options will actually pull your arm out of its socket. Instead, we're going to aim for a halfway point. So I'm going to pull my shoulder down halfway between all the way down and all the way hanging. So again, halfway, and that's a nice happy medium to allow our shoulders to engage. The next most important tip for your top arm is to bring it into external rotation. So external rotation is where I'm going to turn my palms outwards away from me. Notice how I'm turning my arm into external rotation. The opposite of that is internal rotation, where I turn my arms in towards me. Now when I'm above head, external rotation is turning this forwards and my palm backwards. This way, it feels like external rotation when we're above head, but it's actually internal rotation. So to make sure you've got it right, we're going to start with our palm just to your side, facing your leg. Then we're going to turn into external rotation. So I'm going to turn my pinky towards me, thumb away, so that my palm comes forward. From there, I want you to bring your arm all the way up above head, and then we're in external rotation. By bringing your arm into external rotation, you're going to be allowing your body or your shoulders to engage specific muscles that we need to perform our beginner spins injury-free. Just perform this quick test for me so I can show you why. I want you to bring your arm into internal rotation, and then I want you to try and bring it up above head. Gets a bit stuck, yeah? Gets a little bit jammed. When I bring it into internal rotation like so and trying to bring it above head, I'm going to end up jamming my humerus into the shoulder joint, which isn't really beneficial. It's not what we're after. Instead, if you bring your arm into external rotation, bring it all the way up above head, you're going to notice how much more free that arm feels. Let's bring that now into our chair spin. So coming back next to the pole, top arm up above head, you're going to make sure that we don't hang. We're not going to pull all the way down. You're going to come to your halfway point. From there, you're going to bring your arm into a bit of external rotation as much as you can in this position. So I'm literally going to think about turning my fingers more in towards me, so they're almost facing that way. And I'm going to try and hold that throughout the whole spin. And number one, it's going to feel much nicer, much healthier through your shoulders. And number two, you should feel like you can hold this spin for a lot longer and maybe even remove the bottom arm. So halfway pull, external rotation, I'm going to hold it there. It's going to engage through the back of my shoulders. I'm going to step through my inside, take off and lift. I'm holding my external rotation, my halfway pull, my shoulders feel happy. Hold this for days. Now let's take a look at your bottom arm. Your bottom arm should be at belly button height. We want to try not to have it up here. If it's up here, I'm going to fall into the pole and I'm not going to get anywhere. Instead, we want to have it at belly button height. So my top arm was doing a lot of pulling to hold me up. My bottom arm is going to push me away from the pole. So it's also important on this shoulder that it stays down. Now it's not above head, so you can pull that shoulder all the way down. When you're above head, we don't want to pull all the way down. But when we're here, we're going to think about pulling that shoulder down and keeping it open. Try not to round over the pole like so. Really think shoulder rolled down and back, and then you're going to push as hard as you can. So top arm up, bottom hand at belly button height. I'm making sure that my bottom shoulder isn't up towards my ear and it's not rolled forward like so. I'm going to keep it down away from my ears the entire time. Stepping forward with my right, I'm going to lift, pushing with my bottom arm, pulling with my top for that nice, effortless looking chair spin. Final couple of bonus tips for you. Firstly, just your core, just making sure the whole time we're thinking about tucking our tummy in. A nice strong core really does help your shoulders engage a lot better as well. Let's take a look at 3 off the pole exercises we can do to improve that shoulder engagement for our chair spins. For the first exercise, we're going to be working on our external rotation above head. All you're going to need is a yoga block and something to hold on to. So I'm going to use my peanut roller, but you could use any object, booty band, whatever you've got, tea towel. It's basically just for proprioception. So I'm going to first position myself in an eggshell shape or child's pose, and from there I'm going to place my elbow in the center of the block like so. Now it's important that I keep my elbow in really close to my head, so try not to have your elbow out here. Again, I want elbow in, and I want you to keep an eye that it stays there the entire time. From here, I'm going to get you to lower your hand down to the side. Just make sure that your palm is facing you, so we are in external rotation. And then I'm going to rotate and push my arm as far over into that externally rotated position as possible. So again, I'm going to lower down, and then I'm going to exhale, push that peanut as far over into external rotation as I can. Now with this one, the deeper I bring my arm into this shoulder stretched position, so if I hang up here, it's going to be easier. The deeper I go, so if I get a little bit lower, it's going to get quite a bit harder. Now just make sure that you're not kind of leaning to one side. Try and keep your shoulders the same height as I pull over, and then come over as far as I can, at least 10 times. From there, you're going to do one more before you swap sides. We're going to try and straighten the arm and then pull it in, tap the shoulder, so I want full range, and then release. Now all the same technique cues apply. I want this wrist pulling over on top of the elbow, and elbow staying in narrow. Your elbow is not allowed to wing out wide. So keep it in, hugging your head, and you should feel some muscles through the back of your shoulders. All those external rotators start to wake up. And then just making sure you repeat the same exercise on the other side. For exercise number 2, I'm going to give you 2 options. First one, we're going to use a foam roller, and the second one, we're going to use a yoga block. But let's begin with the foam roller first, and I'm going to come down into a small, or this kind of eggshell shape here. I'm going to place the arm that I'm not using just down on the floor like so. So I've got kind of something to help stabilize me. And then I'm going to bring the foam roller in, elbow in, and I'm going to straighten my arm out. So as I straighten my arm out, I'm going to turn my palm up towards the roof. Once I'm there, I want you to try and lift, lower down, pull the roller back in. So straighten, turn palm up, lift, and then roll back in. So for this one, as you lift your arm, try not to rotate through your body. I want you to try and keep this shoulder down to the floor. As I lift, and then pull back in. Ooh, long hair is a problem, friends. So again, my palm is facing me initially. I straighten out. I'm keeping my head neutral as well. My head isn't flicked up like so, and it's also not looking down towards my boobs. It is neutral, just looking straight down at the floor. So palm facing me, thumb up, straighten out, both shoulders facing the floor. As I straighten, I turn my palm as much into external rotation as I can, lift off, lower back down, repeating at least 10 on this right side before I swap and repeat on the other side. Your second option, if you don't have a foam roller, or you're just feeling extra good today, star student, and you want to do both, we're going to lay it flat on the floor, and you're going to place the yoga block between your hands. Now it's not between my fingers because my wrists are going to cave in, and I don't want that to happen. I want the block literally between your hands, keeping your wrists apart. So from there, you're going to come face down on the floor, and I don't want you just to sit here with an arch through your back. I really want you to try and engage your core, so tuck your tummy in and really thrust your pelvis down into the floor. And we hold that there, again, by engaging through the core, so tucking your tummy in. Resting your head down on the floor, we're going to try and lift, lower back down. Again, lift, and lower back down. So my thumbs are staying up, palms are staying facing each other, and I want you to make sure that you don't bend your elbows to lift the block. We want to keep those elbows as straight as we physically can the entire time. And then you're going to aim for 10 as we lifts up and down. And I am exhaling as I lift inhale as I lower back down. And just checking that you haven't arched through your back. Again, engaging the core, engaging your underbum to keep that pelvis thrusting into the floor. For your final exercise today, we're gonna do some wall angels. These ones are a great one for pole dancers, really good for helping us learn to engage specific muscles, specifically our lower traps, and also just to check in and help you work on your shoulder mobility as well. So for this one, we're gonna start with arms above head. And it's really important that you don't arch through your back. I want you to keep your spine as flat to the wall as possible. Now, if this here is already a struggle, then we've got a little bit of work to do on mobility. In our chair spins, we should be able to hold our arms straight up above head, yeah? Because we're doing this on the pole. So if you're against the wall and your arm is here, we got a little bit of work to do on that mobility so that we can safely perform that chair spin without impinging through that shoulder. And again, we should be able to do that without arching. So if we're arching, our body is overcompensating. So you're gonna think about tucking your tummy in, pressing that spine flat to the wall. From there, you're gonna pull your shoulders down away from your ears, squeeze your elbows into the side of your body, trying to get those wrists back to the wall, and then release hands all the way up above head. No arching though, press your spine flat to the floor. Shoulders down, big exhale, pulling those shoulders down, and then release all the way back up above head. And your goal would be to do 20 of these for me. Now again, no arching through the back, shoulders pulling down, and keeping that core engaged. Please give this video the thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel so I can keep bringing you more valuable content just like this video. And let me know in the comments how these exercises and tips have helped you, if you have any questions or any future requests for videos. But until next time, happy pole dancing.